Hey guys, Mr. Broach here. So, I was just watching YouTube and I saw a video by Andy who he talked about the cryptids of gmod and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a tier list out of this, which is what I have right here. It is the gmod myths, cryptids, ARGs. Kind of Mr. Urban Legend stuff from gmod. I know ARGs are a little far-fetched to put on this list, but I just thought I would do it anyway. So this list includes like myths or like cryptids or something like that. ARGs, even some like incidents that happened, and some of my own, and some separate creatures that I came up for this tier list, and some from other stuff I've made. So I just thought I would make this tier list because I just thought it would be interesting, and why not? Okay, but one of these are gonna be a little different, which is the last one right here, but I'll get to that. Because the last one really shouldn't be on this list. It shouldn't be on this tier list, but I just put it on there so I could talk about it. But yeah. So all these like stuff or urban legends, something like that, are fake. Some of them are real, like found on tape. That's real. That's part of an ARG. There's a map, gmod 13 beta, you know, like that. And incidents too. Those 4 incidents, they all happen too. Anyway, but that's something in my throat. But yeah, we have this tier list from S to F. I did make it there wasn't going to be an E tier section, but I wanted to even it out, so I just put an E tier there just in case. But yeah, I just thought this tier list would be interesting to do. I feel like I wouldn't be making this. I don't know. I think the last gmod related tier list I done was the air cheese thing, which I'm pretty sure is a year ago at this point, so yeah. And just to clarify, some of these are ones that I made or came up with for this list. My ARGs on this list, I just thought I would add it just in case. Cause why not? But yeah. And some of these ARG things, I was planning on doing a gmod ARGs remake, like me doing that video again with more entries and stuff like that. So if I ever do that one, then I think all these ARGs are going to be on that list as well, so be on the lookout for that. I think I keep hearing like a potato beetle flying around, but I don't see it. Potato beetles, they keep coming in my bedroom. They're pests. I'm just hoping no one walks in and interrupts the recording. And I'm playing it also risky, because I didn't close out any of the other tabs. I had to do this on Opera, because I would have to make a tier list thing. I could do it on Firefox, but I didn't want to do that. But if it does the thing, video's gonna be scrapped. I was gonna do the new weather store mod that came out recently, but yeah, it did the thing and I canceled that. So I might not be able to make that video because my damn video memory. God, I hate it. I guess without further ado, let's get into it. But All these might change. I think I forgot to say that on the other tier list I made. I might have forgot to say that. Did I? I don't know. But yeah, these could change throughout the video, stuff like that. And if you don't know, S is the highest, F's the lowest. Usually I would put like some miscellaneous tiers just in case, something like that. But this time, no. I won't have one there. Maybe for the last one, I might make a separate one for the last one when we get to that, but don't know. Well, let's get into it. Starting out with, I think the one that kind of, is it the one that kind of like stirred it all or something? It's the shadow figures. Oh boy. What? I'm pretty sure the shadow figures, if you've seen some gmod ARGs, you know the shadow figures are used a whole lot of gmod ARGs. A little too much. It's pretty much a common trope. Hell. I guess you can count my ARG as one of those, but I wouldn't say that, because mine does it a little bit different, stuff like that. Hopefully different enough to be, you know, not like a cliche or something like that. But yeah, shadow figures. I believe they were originally they originally came from RP Downtown V2, with people saying that map was haunted by the ghost of the creator or something like that, which is just stupid. Why? But I think that's where the shadow figures got their like I'm having a hard time trying to think of stuff to say without sounding like a broken record. That's where the shadow figures made, I guess, their first appearance. I guess maybe they came before, but I think that's when they started to get real popular, where they were like, you know, YouTubers being like, oh, I found a shadow figure in RP Downtown V2. It's real. No, it's not. Do something more productive. Like go touch grass or something like that. But then later on it was used in gmod ARGs. I think the gmod ARG that's used the shadow figure trope, I was gonna say Classic GM Video was the first one that did it, but I think G1 Hyphen was. But Classic GM Videos is what made it popular. And ever since then, the shadow figure has just become kind of a meme at this point. People kind of joke about it now because of how overused it is, which I can see why. But I kind of like it. I mean, it's literally just shadow people. Not super original, but I guess I can kind of see it. So it's gonna go in C tier. C tier in this tier list is middle of the row. Usually it would be B, but C tier would be middle of the road. It's average, and it's what started all. I would put it in S, but I don't know. God, I have some throat. I would put an S, but I am gonna be ranking these on like my, well, for one, on scare factor, on how like scary they are, or when it comes to the incidents, how scary they were when it happened. and I immediately forgot what I was gonna say. That's great. But I was gonna put an S, but when you think about it, it's just a shadow guy. Okay. and plus it's fake. I will say here, I think most of these are kind of fake, or like fictional content or something like that. Most of these are fake and stuff, like ARGs or something like that. I mean, shadow fairies, they don't actually exist, but the funny thing is I used the shadow guy next spot picture for the shadow guy. That's why it would be fitting. But in my opinion, it's middle of the road. So next up is the dark room. The room that people fear, that a whole lot of people are scared about on GM Construct, the map we all know and love. I thought I would put the dark room itself on this list. I know the dark room itself isn't like a cryptid or something like that. I know it, but the dark room is a good it's a good crap. It's the thing that a lot of like cryptids or horror related gmod stuff mostly revolve around. Cause I mean, the dark room, you gotta admit, is kinda creepy. And I can see why people scare it, or people get scared of it. It's a dark room. People hate the darkness and stuff like that, so it's only fitting. I don't know. It's real ominous. Stuff like that, and just seeing the amount of stuff that mostly that kind of revolves around the dark room. I feel like just like the dark figure, it's kind of became a meme. You know, being like, oh, the dark room is scary, it's cursed. Oh, it's the source of all creepiness in Gmod. Bro. But I could see why. I could definitely see, like, a normal player probably getting, like, a more newer player, I would say, launching Gmod for the first time and finding that dark room, or finding the dark room, kind of unsettling when you think about it. And I get it, playing on single player can make you feel a little uneasy. Hell, I play Gmod on single player a lot. I never play the multiplayer servers, and I'm not that kind of guy that does that. I'm a single player guy, so yeah. And I can guarantee you that, yeah, it can feel pretty unsettling sometimes when you're like on a map. You do kind of get like a feeling that you're feeling watched. I thought I heard that thing. I swear I heard that potato beetle. I swear to goodness. Whatever. But I can definitely see why. But I thought I would put the dark room on here, you know, for that reason. A lot of horror related stuff that revolves around Gmod. A lot of the focus is about the dark room, which I can definitely see why. And part of me kind of feels like the dark room kind of what made Gmod ARGs, I think, a thing. I don't know. I don't know why I'm making this video. I chose a pretty bad, not so good day to do this because my brain is not doing the best, but because I can't think of stuff to say, stuff like that. So I feel like it's only fair to put Darkroom in an S, even though it's a meme and it's not that scary anymore. It's still pretty scary when you think about it. I remember like playing gmod for the first time, launching it in like February when I got this computer. I immediately felt like, am I being watched? I just joined. But after seeing so many memes, jokes, or stuff talking about how creepy the dark room is, and how unsettling it is, I could see why. So I think it's only fair to put it in S. I don't know. But this next one is a little weirder. It's shadows being in the lake. Yeah. Now, this one right here has something to do with another one that's actually right next to this one that I'll get to after we get done with this one, called Meaty. We'll get to him later. He's up next after we get done with the shadows in the lake thing. And I'll talk about the connection when we get to Meaty. Anyway, so the shadows in the lake is, a lot of people say, or I'm pretty sure it goes like this, where whenever you kill an NPC on a map, their shadow will be in the lake. Just there, like their soul's trapped in the lake. First of all, that is stupid. I'm assuming it's just supposed to be like a little thing to make you feel sympathy for the NPCs, which, when you think about it, is pretty goofy. Because who's gonna sympathize with characters in gmod? Okay, maybe some people will. It's just ones and zeros. Why? But fun fact, I think the reason, a lot of the proof, like that they show it's real and stuff like that, it is real, but not in the way you're thinking. It's not paranormal or the thing is real or something like that. No. In fact, it means, when you go on the map and go below the, lake surface and spawn some ragdolls there, their shadow will still be on the surface there, even though the ragdoll is not there. It's just a rendering bug, stuff like that. It's nothing special. It's just some just standard source engine jank. So I kind of want to put this in F, because it's not scary. It's just a render thing. It's F. I'm sorry. I don't find it scary. Maybe. No. Not really. To me, it's either E or F. I feel like putting it in F is a little bit too harsh. But then again, it could have been better. So it's going to be an F. And up next is Meaty. Now the shadows in the lake and Meaty, both of those things are from the Russian side of Garry's Mod. Yeah. And I think Meaty in the Russian side of Gmod, the Russian community, is kind of a joke. Meaty's kind of like their version of like the shadow person. Now, because they have their own version called the Observer, which is up next as well. But Meaty, you can actually summon Meaty. It's not true. Don't do this. Don't waste your time doing this. But you can summon Meaty by killing a specific NPCs in an order. It really depends on who you ask. It really depends on who you ask or something like that, because I don't know. But then if you do that, you'll see the shadows in the lake, which means you successfully summoned Meaty. So go in the dark room, boom, you see him, your fate's undone. You probably die in real life knowing that. Now Meaty, it mostly revolves around the dark room, which we talked about. Meaty's kind of interesting, to be honest. I kind of like Meaty. I kind of like the concept of it, where it's like a flesh kind of monster, hides in the dark room or something like that. It's basic, I know, but I kind of find it a little interesting. I do remember this one video where they're like, "Oh, Meaty's real," and stuff like that, and at the end they do a jump scare that actually got me pretty good. Whoever did that video, go fuck yourself. Seriously, do something better. No jump scare. Okay, anyway. Yeah, Meaty, I find it interesting. There is one interpretation. Well, first of all, a lot of people, they can't really decide a good design for Meaty. A lot of people can't really decide on a good design, so the design is, different. Stuff like that. There is this one design where it's just a bunch of giant tentacles coming out of the dark room with a mouth. Some kind of giant octopus in the dark room, which is kind of creepy. I find it interesting, but the standard of a lot of the version of Meaty or the design a lot of people agree with is just Dr. Brain. Put a meat material on him, and there you go. That's Meaty. Think of something original. And that's all because if you go in the secret room, you can see like a decal, like Brain like turning into Meaty. Whoever thought of that? Why? That's just part of Half-Life 2. I'm pretty sure it was just made for shits and giggles. It sounds like it definitely would be. But I find Meaty kind of interesting. But a lot of these cryptids, some of these cryptids, a lot of these are like kind of memed at this point now. But some of them aren't really. But that, anyway. Should I put it next to Shadow Figures? I find it a little bit more interesting. I'll put Meaty in B for now. I was thinking A, but maybe not. The Observer, and no, not the Observer from Tribe 12, not that one. The Observer for Gmod. From what I know of, the Observer is basically just the Shadow People again, except it's G-Man. It's just a Shadow G-Man this time. It's the same it's the same Shadow Figure guy. The only difference is that it's G-Man. It's gone right next to the Shadow Figures. It's just the Russian version of the Shadow Figure. That's what the Observer is, pretty much. I don't know. gmod 13. GM Construct 13 Beta. We got our first, I'm pretty sure this is an ARG. So, we have our first ARG on the list that we're going to be covering. Yay! It's a real map you can go and get on the Steam Workshop if you want to try it out. And, oh boy, there's a lot of Gmod related stuff, like the Call virus. Apparently you can have binge bags go in your server, which is kind of crazy. It's just a really off and a weird ass map, and I love it. It's supposed to, be based off those like old gmod 13 beta builds. I'm pretty sure that's kind of what gmod 13, GM Construct 13 beta is supposed to be based off of, those GM Construct 13 beta builds. Stuff like that. Like they have the tunnels from those. Stuff like that. I really like this. I really do like this map. I recommend you go check it out if you have the time. I want to put an S Is it criminal putting it in S? Nah. It belongs in S in my opinion. It's made by 2 veteran gmod players who, I don't know, they just made a good project. I'm pretty sure one of them made a V2, I think, because I'm pretty sure there's a V2 of the map where it just kind of like fixes some bugs, I think. I don't know. Anyway, Semper. Oh god. I remember watching Endy's on the iceberg videos quite a lot, actually, like more than one occasion. I'm pretty sure that's where Semper got his like fame from, stuff like that. And as he stated, it's probably caused by having 2 conflicting add-ons or something like that. If you don't know what Semper is, it's just like the Half-Life 2-player model that the gray statue thing that's used in Half-Life 2 to represent the player. It's supposed to be a kind of statue-looking version of like Gordon Freeman from Half-Life 1, stuff like that. Now, it is kind of true, but not in the paranormal sense. No, that part is not true. I find Semper kind of dumb. You can complain with me, I find him dumb. But I'm gonna cut him some slack. I'm gonna put him in E. I would have put him in F, but I'm gonna cut him some slack because I think a good amount of people kind of like it, and I don't want to offend people. Even though I'm gonna offend at least one person. He'll be in E for now. He might go up in D or maybe even C. I don't know. Now this next entity is our first cryptid that I made up. I don't really have a name for it because I didn't really think of a description for it. I just kind of made it, stuff like that. So I guess its name would be unnamed. It's basically an entity that hides in the dark room. You'll see these tentacles. It's inspired by that one image of like that one interpretation video I talked about. It's mostly based off of that. Just my interpretation. And then it has 2 white glowing eyes. And when you see tentacles coming out of the dark room and those eyes pop up, then your game crashes. I don't know. I feel like that would actually not be a bad character to put in my G-Men like your 2009 series, actually. In my own or gmod ARG. I feel that wouldn't be that bad. I don't know, we'll get to that later. But it would be kind of, I don't know. Why did I even put this? Why? I don't know. I guess you guys can figure out. Okay, I'm gonna make a separate tier because I have no idea what to rank this. Okay, let me do it. Don't go. I know I spelled don't wrong. Don't blame me. Don't know. I'm putting in don't know. I know it's something that I made, but I haven't came up with a description or what it does thing yet. I feel like I just put it on there for shits and gigs. I don't know. Moving on. Survivor of All. Our first proper gmod ARG on YouTube, which is supposed to be taking place around the same time that War of the Servers takes place in, which if you don't know what War of the Servers is, it's a gmod machinima parody off of War of the Worlds. You can probably tell I'm kind of a good fan, pretty big fan of War of the Worlds. I grew up watching 2005 movie a lot when I was younger at my dad's house. So I'm very familiar of War of the Worlds. So when I saw this machinima for Gmod, I instantly got interested. Even though binge pods are not tripods. When I first saw that, I was kind of bummed out. Anyway, we're off topic, but that's pretty much what Survivor All is, taking place in. It focuses some one player that's supposed to try and survive through the events of War of the Observers. He's just on his own and stuff like that. It's complicated and stuff like that, but it's a pretty good series. I recommend check it out if you like War of the Observers. It may interest you. I was interested in it. Not really now, but I kind of liked it. A tier for now. Alright. GM Fork Bigfoot. This one's a wild one. So apparently, a lot of users say that when you're in GM Fork in the foresty area, you'll see someone walking past, and a lot of people think that it's Bigfoot. What the hell? I know the GMod community can be pretty damn unhinged sometimes, but man. And I think even the creator, he did outright say that it's just false. He didn't try to, take it to his advantage, it may be real. Something like that. No, he just said it was outright fake. I mean, it's gotta be fake. I know the picture, that looks more like a werewolf, but I couldn't find a good image for that on GM Fork, so it kind of looks like Bigfoot from afar. Kinda. This one's definitely one of the more wild ones on this list. First of all, why Bigfoot? I mean, GM Fork is the second most subscribed map on Garesmon on the workshop, next to Big City. But I feel like there could have been a bit of a better cryptid for GM Fork. I feel like there could have been a much better one. It kind of feels more like those GTA San Andreas, myth busting videos from back in the day. It reminds me a whole lot of them, like those Bigfoot, GTA San Andreas myths. I found Bigfoot. It's real. I found Bigfoot. Bro. Yeah, it's definitely wild. I guess it's an original ideal? I don't know. Anyway, it's in D for right now. Maybe it'll go in E, but I don't know. It's really just more wild and kind of just outright just wild. Something like that. I don't know. The G-Man apparition. Now I know what you're thinking. It's a ripoff of the War apparition from the Super Mario 64 iceberg. Look. I know. Okay. Alright. But it's basically a cryptid that is in Neaster, or GM Neaster, which is, if you don't know, a procedural generated map where every door you open can be entirely different. And it'll go on forever until your game starts lagging and stuff like that. It's a pretty interesting map. And someone made a shitpost saying ooh, I was playing GM Neaster, and then the whole place went dark, and then G-Man's head just popped out of the black smoke, crashed my PC. I tried to turn it on, but PC didn't work, and he needed the War apparition. It's stupid. But for some dumb reason, I think it's interesting. I know it's not original, but it's interesting to me. I feel like if this happened, I would get kind of startled if that actually happened. I just burped. Oh god. But it's silly. It's not really that original. It's just a It's just the gmod version of the war apparition. That's it. But for some reason I find this interesting. I'm putting it up in B. Yeah. Right next to media in my opinion. I think the G-Man apparition, I almost said war apparition again, dear God. I think the G-Man apparition, when you think about it, it's not original, I know it, but it kind of interests me, like something like jumps here kind of thing like that, and like a procedural generated map like that. I know there's another procedural map called Sector 75, I think. It's like Gmneaster, but if it was more liminal. That would make it a little bit more terrifying if the G-Man apparition was for that map as well. I don't know. It kind of looks like the observer has a head now. You kind of see what I mean? That's kind of funny. Okay. Oh boy. We have my ARG on this list. G-Man Liker in 2009. Oh boy. Goodness, hold up. But yeah. So we have my ARG. It's G-Man Liker 2009. I just thought I would, do my take on a G-Man ARG. It was originally just gonna be like, oh, it's a shadow figure and stuff like that. But it would be more like combining the Living Red Dolls trope with the shadow figures trope. I know Fortress Soldier 2014 did that as well. It did that as well, but I don't know. But in my version, I would think it would be more of a story, something like that. One that doesn't really. The player is just in the background of all this. It mostly revolves around two NPCs, Rados, whatever you want to call them, mostly NPCs or something like that, that are just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And then this tall shadow guy called the Despaired One, which I also put on this list as well, on his own, as well as his little henchman. I'm gonna actually put this one a little farther back, and I'm gonna put this one right over here, just to get mine out the way. I know it's not finished yet, and I've been kind of taking a break off it. I don't want to scrap it, because I feel like I could do really good on that project, because I'm trying to make it as original as possible. It may have some cliches every now and then, but I'm trying to make it like interesting. Not like a cliche or something like that. I don't know. And this is my ARG, so I'm not gonna be too harsh about it, because it's mine ARG, or one of mine. But for now, I think the red mist, the blood fog, a concept that I have for this series is pretty interesting. Or whenever this blood fog comes up, it means that the Spared One or his minions have arrived in that map and ready to come kidnap you. That sounds wrong out of context. But, and another thing, the shadow figures in this one, I would do this in normal Gmod 9, but I don't know how to do that, so I just do it. I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try and make Gmod as like old school as possible. It's supposed to take place in a different like Gmod timeline universe where a lot of the maps and stuff like that, I don't know, something like that, are from like modern Garry's Mod, something like that. It's like an alternate reality or an alternate universe kind of situation going on here with this ARG. where it's around the classic gmod era, but there's some stuff that feels like it's a little far away, but it happens in that timeline. It's supposed to be like a different alternate universe kind of thing that I have for this ARG, where it is classic Gmod, but it has stuff from like modern Garage Mod stuff, like Free Space 13, for example. I think Free Space. God, I cannot speak. I think Free Space 13 is. It came like after that, but I am thinking on like having, the person that's like saying, "Oh, I found these weird videos on this guy's hard drive." It's like the main character that the story follows. In the background, there's the guy that's posted these, which I have plans on being like, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can see this myself, like in normal Gmod and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like the ARG could have a good amount of potential. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do with this ARG, is to show that you can make something original or something close to if you're making a Gmod ARG. Don't just like use like your stereotypical tropes, like, oh, the ragdolls are alive, or there's a shadow guy hanging out in the dark room, or like near the dark room just vibing. He's just sitting on the TV, just watching TV, just chilling. I don't know. Do something original, please. Don't just like copy and paste. Come on with my mouse like that. Okay. Don't copy and paste. Make something original. It's my ARG, so I have to put an S because it's mine. And I guess while we're at it, I guess I'll talk about the spared one and his little goons or little minions. I guess we'll start off with the minions first. Now, the minions. This is my interpretation of the shadow figure, where they act similar but are a little bit more ominous, where at first they do look like they're just your stereotypical shadow figure that you see in a lot of those tropes, but for one, the design is different. It's more of a tall like being with long fingers. So I try to make the shadow figure a bit more interesting, since it's supposed to be an alternate reality, or it's just my interpretation of the shadow figure. It would be a little bit more taller, slender. Even the model that I used for it is a Slenderman model, so it makes sense. I just really like those long fingers that are on the model, and with these shadow figures, they're the little minions that work for, well, the spared one, which we'll get to him later. He'll be up next. But then, like, whenever there's blood fog around with that creepy ass ambience that I like, it fits that a lot. They kind of just stand around and stuff like that, and yeah, they're just they're not like your like normal shadow figure, kinda, but they're supposed to be a little bit more of an ominous interpretation. Like, you see them just standing there, but they're not doing anything, and they like to be in packs where there's more than one of them, like in the Free Space 13 video I did, something like that. There was like a lot of them, stuff like, because in Gmail Like Resident 9 universe, Free Space 13 was supposed to be like a little like base of operations for these NPCs. That's where it goes. Similar to Plastic Apple, the NPCs and Ragdolls are like friendly to the players and stuff like that. They don't mind being used for machinimas, they don't mind it. They're like, oh, it's standard protocol. It's standard. We're used to it. But then something is off and something like that. I don't know. It's kind of similar like Plastic Apple, where the ragdolls are friendly to the player and don't fear him. Stuff like that. It's not like that. That's also a little different. But yeah. It's gonna go right next to. I feel like C tier is just gonna be like the shadow figure tier, where all the shadow figures just go. I'll actually put it above the normal shadow figure. It's supposed to be more of an ominous interpretation of it. And now we're on to the spared one, which is is the main honcho, the main villain of the series, or the main villain of the ARG. He's the main villain, and is the one responsible for having the blood fog, or having all the events take place and unfold. I'm just fidgeting with my shoe. God, hold up. Okay. He's the main villain and stuff like that. He also uses a Slenderman model that can actually be posed and stuff. It's not like just a steel statue guy or something like that. I like the fingers, that's why I use that model. I don't like the legs. The legs look goofy. If the creator of that model is watching this, is there a way to like change the model? I know the model is from Sketchfab, but still, I feel like the arm should be a bit more longer than, to make sense. But yeah, whenever the despair one's around, it has the blood. He summons the blood fog to let you know he's in that server and you need to run for your damn life. Although he'll probably just snatch you up, like what he's doing in the image. And I did add the blood fog in that image as well, for immersion's sake. But I don't know. I mean, he controls the shadow figures in this and Gmail Like 2009 universe. He's the reason. Well, he controls the shadow figures in that universe, which we just ranked. I'll put him a little higher. I put him above Meaty, I think. I don't know. You Need Me is up next. Where do I rank this one? It's just a weird thing like two people made. Stuff like that, and it became creepy. The base is a scientist model, and then there's G-Man heads coming out of it saying like, you need me. It is weird. And in that video, there's like a G-Man face that covers the door frame. I'm more curious about why that is that, and not the actual monster itself. I just thought that would be funny. It's just kind of weird. I had to put it on the list. I feel like it would be a little criminal to not put it on the list, because it is sort of a cryptid of Gmod at this point. I guess A. It's just weird. I don't know. Okay. Now we're on to the Gmod incident things. I put all four of these like next to each other so I can get those out of the way. Blue Library. Yo, Blue Library. How do I say this without getting demonetized? Oh fuck. I mean, so if you don't know, there was this incident where an add-on called Glue Library and 3 other add-ons had an update where the creator put a goatsy jump scare in it. If you don't know what goatsy is, good, because I am not gonna say what it is. It's bad. It was bad, and it scarred a lot of Gmod players, and it was and the creator got banned soon afterwards, pretty quickly, I think. It was just a pretty bad incident that happened, and Glue Library has since been like taken down and stuff. It was bad. On Scare Factor, I've been relying on Scare Factor a lot, have I? God, I don't know. Glue Library is above A, because it was scary, it was bad. It was not a good incident. The cough virus. If you don't know, back in the day there was this exploit where there was a guy who soon like addressed it to spread awareness of it, but there was this virus where it made you cough in the chat. You couldn't say anything but cough, and it would change your username to VinHillFixit. It was the cough virus. It was mostly just you should give awareness to the creators, like the developers of gmod. It was just to give them info that, oh, there's something wrong in the code that someone could very easily exploit. You better fix it. And they did. And who was that person that told him that? Chris Astor, who might be the culprit for another one, the gmod virus, but we'll get to that later. Overall, the cough virus, from what I know of, it wasn't like super destructive. It was a bit annoying, and it was just to show the developers of gmod that there was something wrong that someone could very easily exploit and needed to be fixed. It was just it was weird. I guess C, probably like right here above overseer. And next up is the gmod virus. I'm gonna quickly get this one out the way. Gmod virus, this one might be fake, but it could very likely be real. When you launched the game, if you had this virus, if you launched the game, you would get jump scared by this gmod face that I used here. And when you try to Alt F4 or close it out, it would say like, ha ha ha, you're in the pits of hell. And then it will like open up a website called nymph.org, which would show a lot of not so safe for work stuff. Hold up. Alright, we're back. My papa walked in. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I hate it when that happens. God, I hate it. So damn annoying. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. Yeah. gmod virus, it would open up a website called nymph.org, which would show not safe for work stuff, like corn. Change the C to a P, and I think you know what I mean. And also virus sites, cause why not? And it would do it until your PC crashed, I think. I don't know. It's kind of scary because it shows some stuff that you really didn't want to see. I guess it's like below the Glue Library incident. And we got the one more incident called the Take My Meds incident. It was similar to the gmod virus, where if you got a specific map of the workshop and launched your game, you would get jump scared by, I think, Alex from Half-Life 2, I think. It was kind of creepy. That face kind of creeps me out. And it would just say, take my meds. Or take my meds. Also with the stalker scream in the background. And you would just have to close out. And I feel like the only way to get rid of it was to uninstall the map that had the virus to begin with. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure the virus started to happen on the same day that the Clue Library did. It was kind of like a coming a full circle thing. It wasn't as bad as the Clue Library incident or the gmod virus. So I'll put it above you need me, something like that. I don't know. We're done with the incidents. We're done with those. Next up is the creature, the underground creature that's in RP Banklaw. It's self-explanatory. People say that there's a underground creature that lurks in RP Banklaw and stuff like that. Now, Andy did look in the map config, or like the map file in Hammer. Of course, the underground creature, it obviously doesn't exist. Although the creator did kind of be like, oh, maybe it's down there. It's not. It would be pretty creepy though if it did. Hell, even a fellow YouTuber, Lucia, made a haunted version of RP Banklaw, which is kind of funny because of it. The image I just screenshotted myself. It's alright. I would say it's a bit better than the GM Fork Bigfoot cryptid thing. I don't really find this one all that interesting. I'll put it above the Bigfoot one, in my opinion. Alright, Citizen 05 logs. Don't know why. I know what it is, but I forgot it. The Stalker. It comes from Verdum something, who did a playlist of myths while I was making this tier list, and I saw this one called The Stalker. I didn't really watch the full video, but also don't know. It uses a combine shotgunner model, and it's kind of creepy when you think about it. Alright, gmod cool player. It's creepy. So, right here. Okay, this next one's gonna be kind of weird. There is something there. There's a figure right here. You can't really tell, but there is someone there. It's basically, this entry is referring to GM Shambles, that the map's haunted or something like that. It's supposed to be like that like it's haunted or something. It's not. And a little bit of a sad note, the creator of GM Shambles passed away, so may he rest in peace. GM Shambles, I mean, bottom of D. Crap. It is a pretty creepy map, and it would make sense for it to have like a spooky dark figure guy in it, but there's none, and should not be. I don't know. Gmod Russian fan. That one ARG that uses Troj. Yes. Yes. A Troj next spot that they used as the main villain. What the fuck were they thinking? It would make sense if it's supposed to be a parody of Gmod ARGs, because it's extremely funny. Makes no sense whatsoever. I'm pretty sure it was made this for shits and gigs. It's not good. Alright, Gmod weird models. This is a little bit more of a recent ARG that's been going on. It's supposed to be like inspired by like Interloper. You can definitely tell by the presentation. Except okay, I swear to God, if there's another, another person walks in my bedroom asking for something, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna get pissed. Anyway. I'm pretty sure, but instead of like a shadow guy with an umbrella, it's a corrupted model that progressively changes the guy's game. It has some good potential, and it is kind of creepy, but yeah, I'll put it above the G-Man apparition in my opinion. Fortress Soldier 2014. Now I did sort of talk about it a little bit already. It uses the ragdolls or alive trope as well as the shadow figure trope. I don't know. It's one of the ARGs that I have that actually has like an ending to it so far, and it's a really short ARG. It's real short. You can like watch for the whole series in like 10 minutes. Yeah. Alright, this next one is real, and I thought I would put it on the list. It is a creepy Easter egg that you can find in a map called Industrial 17, where you need to have like a day and night cycle mod add-on installed for it to work. You have to go to a certain gate, you gotta turn off the gate power thing, you walk in, and it'll send you to a place that's supposed to be like the cut training room level from the Half-Life 2 beta. And when you get there, you'll see this creepy G-Man that I used for it. And you just get teleported out of the doorway, and yeah. It's just a little Easter egg that's supposed to creep you out. I don't know why there's 9s there, and the G-Man looks pretty creepy. If you stumbled across this Easter egg without you knowing, yeah, you could probably shit your pants a little bit. I'll put it right there, below the G-Man apparition. Found on the tape, ARG maps. Now, if you don't know, Found on the Tape is a ARG that's still yet to be solved, by the way, and probably never going to be solved. It wouldn't be on the list, but the ARG has maps that were for Half-Life 2, or in this case gmod. There's this one, the first one, where you're in like a room. You go out, you get jump scared by this lovely face from the first video of that series. Yeah, that's a face that a mother can love. You gotta admit that. It's a very likable face. Okay, that's morbid. Anyway, the second one, you're just in a lot of like vent system thing with a creature, and then you jump down a hole, it turns white. Third map, another set of vent corridors. You go back in the room that you saw in the, I don't know what happens in the third map though. And then the fourth and final map, it's the largest map, and then you get chased by a creature known as Armless at the end, and he'll just kill you. Really weird. It is a really cryptic. It's cryptic as hell, and it's still yet to be solved. Creep factor, it's kind of up there, top of B tier. Let me move it. Oh my goodness, let me move. Okay. Alright, next one is weird billboard found in Gmod Tower. Now, you've probably seen that video that there is this guy on Gmod Tower that sees a weird billboard. He interacts, and he gets teleported to this corridor, which is actually supposed to be a cut, like, little game mode for Gmod Tower. If you don't know, Gmod Tower was a very popular Gmod server that shut down. But the game was called like the Streamer, where players would have to make decisions on to progress through the story, which is kind of interesting. It was sadly they got canceled, but it's kind of like that. It's just weird. It's don't know. Don't know where to put it. There is something wrong with my gmod. I feel like just like with gmod Russian fan, this feels like a shitpost. Because it's no scary dog figure or the Rattos are alive. The enemy in this series is, I shit you not, Dr. Coomer from Half-Life 1. Why? F. Even the creator himself went out of character to say it was stupid. I don't blame him. Alright, and last one is not Gmod related, but it's just something I want to talk about and might want to do another tier list on. So, not a spoiler. The Hat Man. Don't know. If you don't know what the Hat Man is, it's a shadow figure-like thing that you see after taking Benadryl or something like that. Benadryl? I don't know. I just find the Hat Man interesting and put him on the list. Kind of like a little, maybe a little teaser for another upcoming tier list. Don't know. I really like the screenshot that I took. That is kind of creepy. And that's it. That is the entire Gmod ARG, Gmod Horror, Cryptids, Myths, ARGs, you name it, tier list. I know this video was pretty quick. I just thought I would do this video. But if you guys enjoyed, hit the like button. You can subscribe if you want. If not, that is a-okay with me. That'll be heavily appreciated. And don't sound like community posts. They can be very helpful, like what videos you might do next, or other stuff in general, like teaser trailers, channel updates, and so on. And for the love of God, give the community posts some attention, please. I'm saying that right now. I feel like I need to start begging and start making it go like, dude, check out my community posts. I'm not saying you can do it if you want. I feel like I'm actually gonna have to start begging you for doing that. You know, begging you to do that. I don't know. I don't want to try and get desperate. Anyway, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and eat something because I'm kind of hungry at the moment. That's what my papa came in here for. He was just saying like, if you want something to eat. Also, I had to do homeschooling at 7. So, not really the best time to do this video on, but I wanted to do it. But, I'm Mr. Broach. And I'll see you in the next one. See you later.